Hi guys, and welcome back. It's been a long time I did this, and this is because, to be sincere with you guys, a lot has been happening for the past few months. I've just been trying my very best to make sure that I keep up with this channel. I do not just want to just dump the channel and just vanish into thin air and then come back here one day and come and start rambling. And that's one of the reasons I've not been as consistent as I used to be. If you notice, I post once in 1 week, once in 8 days, sometimes even 10 days, and all I ask is just for your pardon at this point. Okay, so with that being said, guys, you're welcome back to another tutorial video. Today we are going to be making this beautiful kimono jacket. This jacket is one that I find very interesting in the sense that you can rock it as a dress, you can wear it on a pant, you can wear it on a short, you can use a belt on it, like whichever way you just feel very comfortable, and as long as it matches your occasion, then you are good to go. So with that being said, guys, I'm sure you're interested in this one. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Give this video a thumbs up because I can bet you're going to enjoy this one. And guys, let's dive right into the tutorial. So I begin by placing the fabric on fold, and I'm here to measure the width of the fabric. And to get the width of your fabric, what you need to do is to measure from the center back to where you want the sleeve to stop or terminate. So that is going to determine how wide you're going to measure, like so. And then you add about 2 inches seam allowance to that width. So that's how you get the width of your folding. And after that, I get the length that I want. For this one, I'm using up to the knee length, and I'm adding 2 inches seam allowance. Next, I mark the breast point length, the underbust length, and the shoulder to the hip length. For kimono, we normally use just the underbust and the shoulder to the hip length, but this I'm using 3 of these because the sleeve of this one is not as wide as the regular kimono jacket. Okay, please note that for kimonos, the back is always longer than the front, so the back has to fall over to the front part. Okay, so just watch out how I'm going to be achieving that as we proceed. So at this breast point length, what I'm going to be doing is I divide the bust measurement by 4, okay, and I mark that out. And then depending on how big I want the kimono to be, you add your seam allowance of about 2 to 3 inches. And I also do the same to the hip measurement, divide by 4 plus seam allowance of about 2 to 3 inches. And at this angle 90 point, I'm going to be marking out my curve. That's the connection of both points together. You can see how I'm making a curve there. And right about now, it's time for me to cut out the back part of the kimono. And after cutting the back part, I'm going to be folding the center of the back, just as you can see, by either 1.5 or 2 inches. Okay, that's for the back part, the center area. And also I'm going to be folding the shoulder area as well. Remember I said that the back is always longer than the front and also wider. So I fold over the shoulder area by 2 inches or 2.5, depending on how much I want, the back to fall towards the front. And then I place it on the part I'm going to be using for the front, like so. As you can see, I just folded the center and then the shoulder I placed exactly on another fabric, and then I cut exactly what I have after folding. Okay, so at this point I raise the back, and then I'm going to be marking out the neck depth for the front, which is about 2.5 inches, and then the width I just cover out to match the width that I have for the back after folding the center of the back. Okay, and next I'm going to be cutting out the neckline for the front. As you can see, the neckline for the front is not going to be as wide as that of the front, and then I cut open the front part because I have the front to be 2. And guys, I have to use another fabric to complete this tutorial because I couldn't finish up the filming for the other one. So as you can see, this is what I have for the back, and then this is the front, so you can see the placement. And then I'm going to be stitching along the shoulder line like so. So after stitching the shoulder line, this is what it looked like. You can see the space between the front and the back, and then I pull down like so. This is what I mean by the back falling over to the front. Okay, and then it's about time we start our turning up with another piece of fabric. So for the turning up, this is what I'm going to be using to do the turn up for the sleeve area of the kimono and also the neck part. And for the kimono jacket itself, this is the right part of the jacket, and then this is the wrong side of the jacket. And then for the turn up piece, just watch exactly how I'm going to be placed the right side to the wrong side. So for this particular one, this is the right side of the turn up piece. You place it over the wrong part of the jacket. Okay, do not mistake that, and you place it like so, and then you're going to be stitching all around the sleeve area like so, from the other end up to the other end. Okay, and after the stitching, this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the turn up looks like on the main kimono jacket. So I open it up like so, and then I iron it flat. And for the top stitching, please note that you're top stitching on the main jacket, not the turn up. Okay, just take note of that so that I don't mistake. So I'm going to be top stitching on the main jacket, and this is what the top stitching looks like. And after top stitching, I can now fold over like so, and I also give it a good press. And still in the course of the ironing of the turn up, I'm going to be folding in half an inch that I'm going to be using to stitch the turn up piece on the jacket itself. So after folding, I iron, and this is what it looks like. So at this point, I'm going to be stitching very neatly and close to the tip of the turn up. Make sure it is very close to the tip so that it's almost invisible. So after that, this is what it looks like, and see, this is what you should have after you top stitch on your turn up. So this is basically how you're going to be doing on both sides of the sleeve. And right about now, it's time for the center and the neck part of the kimono, which is one of the most challenging aspects for most people. So to get that done, you're not just going to be doing it straight forward like we did on the sleeve area. Best believe that it's not going to be as straightforward as we did to the sleeve, just taking the turn up and then placing it over. If you do that, when you come to the neck area, that's the cuff part of the neck, you're going to be having a serious challenge in manipulating that aspect. Okay, so just watch and see how we are going to be cutting out the turn up for the center fold and then the neck area. So to do that, I get the center back and then I fold it over like so. Can you see how the folding goes? And then I get the turn up piece fabric, the turn up the fabric that I'm going to be using for the turn up. I'm almost biting my tongue at this point. So I place it on fold and then I place the kimono on it like so. So you can see at this point, I'm going to be measuring the length that I want the turn up to take. That's at on the kimono. So I measured about 3.5 inches and then I place the kimono on it like so. So I'm going to be cutting along this part, like you can just see me marking out. So that's exactly what I'm going to be cutting after marking out. So after marking out, I take out the main kimono jacket, and then what I have at this point, that's the 3.5 inches or 3 inches, depending on what you want to use. I'm going to be marking that all along the shape that I have marked out. Okay, so that's basically what you're going to be doing all the way. And then it's time for us to cut out exactly what we marked out. So I'm going to be carefully cutting out the shape that we have. So I cut out the first marking and then I come over and then I cut out the next one like so. So after cutting, what we have is what we're going to be using for our turn up for the front part and the neck area for the kimono. So at this point, I'm going to be notching the center of this turn up. So I open it up like so. You can see that it has taken the shape of what we have at the front. So I open up the front like so. This is the back part or the wrong part of the kimono. Okay, so I place the right part of the turn up on the wrong part of the kimono, just like we did to the front, and I'm going to be stitching all around the shape that we have. So after stitching, this is what it looks like. Okay, so at this curved area, I'm going to be notching so that it can relax at the end of the day, because if you don't notch your curved edges, it's going to pose a problem or a challenge at the finishing. So I just do that, and then I'm going to be top stitching on the kimono just like we did basically to the sleeves. After top stitching, I iron out, and then this is what the ironed part of the jacket looks like. So after that, I just iron on the kimono again. I'm sure you can remember exactly what we did to the front. Just the basic process of what we did to the front is what I'm going to be repeating at this point. So at this point, I just fold in half an inch and then I top stitch. And guys, basically, if you recall, we are almost at the tail end of our jacket making. So I'm going to be ironing that all around. This neck curved area is always more challenging than the straight part of the front part, so you have to be more patient at this point. Just be patient with yourself, you'll get it. So you can see how neat I've already ironed everything, and then I also top stitch just like I did to the sleeves. And guys, I think our kimono is ready at this point, except for the closing of the sides and then the folding of the lower part of the kimono. And after that, you just notch the stitched part of the sides, at the curved area of the side, so that it can relax. Always endeavor to notch your curved edges, and then finally give it a good press. So this is basically how the making of your jacket or your kimono goes. And lastly, we're just going to be hemming the down part of our kimono jacket. And guys, our kimono jacket is set and ready. So guys, this is so far how you can go about the making of your kimono jacket, well expatiated upon. You can rock this with a short, with a pant, whatever you want, you rock it. It always comes out looking very beautiful. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in my next one. Bye.